Welcome to the REMC 5 Moodle training videos. In this video, we're going to talk about just more kind of basic setup things that you'll need to know. When you get your course and you've got your name set up and you've figured out the number of topics that you may want to start with, you'll notice that there are some blocks around the outside of your page. I want to talk about what those are all about. You'll have a settings block and a navigation block, and those are always going to be there. There's a couple different ways you can choose to view those blocks. If they are currently open blocks, you'll notice that there's some icons in the corner, and we'll talk about what those do. One of your choices is if you click the little plus or minus sign, it will either shrink up the content or expand it. So that's just what the plus and minus will do. Beside that, you'll notice that there's another little icon that says move this to the dock. So if I click that, what happens is my block actually kind of closes and it becomes a tab over on the side. And some people just prefer to work this way because it cleans up the page a little bit. So if I do that with both my settings and my navigation block, you'll notice that they both go over to the dock, and it just allows more room for your content. Now, when you hover on either one of those tabs, the menu choices will pop in for you to select from. And you always have the option then of, while you're hovering on that, to come over and then undock this item, and that will put that back available. So some people will have maybe the settings block there all the time, or choose not to. It's totally up to you, whatever you want to do with that. But if you are working in Moodle and you ever feel like your settings block is gone, chances are you maybe accidentally moved it to the dock. So check over here for that tab. The other blocks are just kind of default template items that you can either have showing or not showing in Moodle. So when you get your course for the first time, you'll notice that you have a few of them there. Now, I always recommend that if you're not using a particular feature of Moodle, for example, if you're not using the forums, then it really doesn't make sense to have a block that would allow the students to search forums. If you're not doing anything that's, using a calendar where you're putting timed events in, you may not have a need for the upcoming events. So basically, if you are not using a block, you should probably just deactivate it. So to do that, you'll turn your editing on, and then you'll notice once you've done that, you have, in each block, you have these icons that pop in. So although the X in Moodle typically means delete, when you delete one of these blocks, you're really not deleting it for good, you're just turning it off. So I'm going to turn off my search forums. So I click that X, and you'll notice that it goes away. Another item that you have an option to do is the little eyeball. Anytime you see the eyeball in Moodle, it means to either hide or show something. So if you select hide, it means it's hidden for the students, but you can still see it. Now for the blocks, there may or may not be a reason for you to have one of those hidden where you can see it but the students can't. Typically you'll either delete them or turn them off or have them showing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the latest news as well because I'm not using anything related to that. I'm going to delete my upcoming events because there's nothing related to that. Now the recent activity, you may want to keep that one because this will alert students if there have been updates to the course. So when they log in, if they look at the recent activity block, they'll see if you've made any changes or added things to the course. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that for now because I want to clean it up and have it nice and tidy for when I start to add my content. Now you'll notice I've turned off all those other blocks, and you'll notice that I do have the option to add a block back in. So when I click that drop down menu, you'll see all of the blocks that I just turned off, along with some others that are available as options. So as we go through the training videos, we may talk about some of these blocks and turning them back on. But you can always turn them on, and if it doesn't look like something you're going to need, you can turn it back off. When I turn my editing off for my course, you'll notice that the Add a Block menu leaves, and now your course looks much cleaner, and you only have the topics listed there that you can begin to populate with content. So again, in the upcoming videos, we'll look at some of the different types of things we can add to Moodle and how we go about doing all of that.